Okay, so in this video, we're going to talk about comparing groups using Excel. And a lot of our hypotheses or research questions that we're interested in involve differences between groups or differences between nominal categories. And in this fictional data set, I've got a categorical variable that I've called sex. So I've listed it here as a binary variable. It doesn't always have to be, but it can be for our purposes. This is the simple case. So I want to compare the members that are marked with a 1 and the members that are marked with a 2. In this case, men have been designated with a 1, women designated with a 2. And so just to do that, I need to compute means, but now I can compute the mean for the different groups. And this, of course, is appropriate when your outcome variable, or the variable you're comparing the men and women on, are interval or ratio in nature. And that's the case with these 3 variables here that I've measured on this fictional survey. So extroversion, anxiety, and empathy have all been measured, and those are interval ratio variables. So it's very appropriate to use the mean for each group to make a comparison. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go down here and highlight this cell to make everything organized for extroversion. I'm going to go back to my auto sum. Now average is already loaded in here. Average is loaded in there, but if I just click on average, it's going to auto compute the average for this entire string of cases, even though that's not what I want. So what I need to do is I just need to highlight the cells that are relevant to this group. So if I want to get the average for men, look what I'm going to do. I'm going to left click and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you can see now it's D2 through D6. Now I'm just computing the mean for those 5 cases, and I'm going to hit enter. And so apparently the men have an extroversion level of 3, or the average of 3. And so now, in order to compare, to create a comparison group, I'm going to just drop this down here, and I'm also going to go do the average. But again, it auto fills, and I don't want that. So now I'm just going to click on 2. And I want to highlight those 5 cells as well. So you can see it's D7 through D11, and those are the cells that I want to compute my average for women. I'm going to hit enter, and you'll notice that there is an average of 4.2. So we could make the case that in this small sample, the women have reported higher levels of extroversion than the men. And that would be a statistical type of evidence that we could say if we were hypothesizing that women will report higher extroversion than men, or the research question, will there be a difference between men and women in terms of their extroversion levels? So means are handy to do that. And of course, I could do the same thing for empathy and for anxiety as well. And again, I'll take a shortcut. I'm just going to highlight these 2 cells, and they have my formulas. I'm going to hit Control C, and then I'm going to move them over to these columns as well, and I'm going to hit Control V. And now I've moved those means into those columns as well. So now I can double check and make sure, yeah, this is the average anxiety level for men because those cells are being highlighted. And I can compare that to the average anxiety levels for women and so forth. So anytime I have 2 variables or more, I can easily compare groups just computing means for the different groups and then using those means to make a decision about whether those groups are the same or they're different on that variable.